Hello lovelies, welcome to my second episode on Toycat Arena. Today we're going to be discussing a very sensitive topic, blood group incompatibility. Yes, we all know that during preparation for marriage we always have to go for tests, and one of such tests is the genotype, the blood genotype. But recently I just found out that it's very important we also need to know our blood group. This is to prevent any kind of implications during childbearing, because certain things happen during this process that we need to always know about. So I'll be bringing into the studio today a health practitioner to come and enlighten us about this topic. He's an hematologist, a doctor, and a friend. So let's welcome Dr. Adebayo. Welcome to the studio.
Hello. How you doing? I almost fell there. All right. So, social distancing, move like this. Okay. It's great to be on Toycat Arena Zone, a zone filled with DIYs and plenty.
Interesting stuff.
By the way, I watched your first introductory video. It was amazing, and I think so many people at home are actually waiting to see the content that will come on this show. So, what do you want me to tell you about?
Okay, now first, what is rhesus? I had to say blood group incompatibility so that it won't be too complex for people, but I think rhesus is actually the right word.
Okay, well, yes, there are more than 30 different blood group systems. So there is this organization, it's called the International Society for Blood Transfusion. So they are the ones that do research to identify different blood group systems. And presently there are more than 30 of them, okay? But we don't talk about so many of the others. The ones that we are more concerned about are the ABO and the rhesus. So you were right when you mentioned rhesus, all right? So essentially, everybody knows that, okay, blood group, if you are either A positive or B positive or B negative or O positive, O negative, you keep hearing those kind of terminologies, yes, all right? So essentially what happens is that there are red blood cells, and those red blood cells have something on top of them, okay? And those things on top of them are like proteins, okay? The medical word for those things are antigens. Not onco, antigens, all right? So it depends on the antigen you have on the surface of your red blood cell. So if you have the A antigen, then it means that you will be blood group A. If you have the B antigen on your red blood cell, you will be blood group B. And then if you don't have any of those antigens at all, what do you think the person will have?
I have no idea.
Okay, so that person will be O, so blood group O. All right.
And O is like, you see O,
yes,
negative, O positive.
yes,
like
O is like the most common blood group, worldwide. Okay.
Universal.
Now, yes, somehow, somewhat. Now that is for the ABO. Now, another blood group system is the rhesus. Okay, and how that one operates is this. Essentially, it's either you have it or you don't have it. So those antigens I talked about, the A, the B, there's another antigen called the rhesus antigen. So if you have it on your red blood cell also, then it makes you rhesus positive. If you don't have it on your red blood cell, then you are rhesus negative. So now somebody is A positive, for example. What does it mean? It means on his red blood cell, he has one antigen that carries the A. That's the A antigen, so he's A. Then he also, in addition, has the rhesus antigen on top of his red blood cell, so he becomes A positive. But
so
you know what?
The rhesus you're talking about is the one that talks about the negative or the positive, right?
Exactly. The rhesus is the one that turns someone into A positive or O negative or B negative, But when I listened to your last show, you did mention that you're a foodie. So yes, that means you'll have great passion for kitchen and kitchen matters.
Yes.
So I think it will make a lot of sense if we go to your powerhouse. That's the kitchen. to go and explain in detail this whole antigen and all that, so that the viewers at home will have a perfect understanding of what we are talking about.
Guys, we are here in the kitchen. Well, we're still talking about this resource compatibility matter. So the doctor, he said we need to come to the kitchen and we're going to be using things that we're all familiar with: the tomatoes, the shallots, more tomatoes, scotch bonnets, and carrots. Well, I really don't know what we're going to use all these things for, but let's wait for the doctor to come and explain himself.
Okay, so guys, well, welcome to the kitchen on Toycat's Arena. Exactly, and I've asked her to get me some items. I'm sure you also are surprised. What are we going to do with tomatoes and carrots and different type of onions? I'm going to be using what we know to explain how we get our blood groups. So let's start with this. For the sake of this presentation, this is a red blood cell, all right? So let's put them here. So we have 3 red blood cells here, 1, 2, and 3. Now, for the sake of this presentation, these are antigens, okay? These are antigens. Let's put them here. These also are antigens, all right? So we have the red onions, the white onions, whatever you call them, all right? So now let's start sequentially, okay? Let the red blood cells be here, like this. Now, this antigen, let's call it antigen A. And this antigen, let's call it antigen B. Awesome. So if you have an individual with a red blood cell and antigen A is attached to the surface of the red blood cell, that individual automatically becomes blood group A. So I want you to hold this for me like this, okay? And let me tie that so that the viewers at home will remember the blood group A. So let's just do that like this.
So the tomatoes and the scotch bonnets, the tomatoes is representing the red blood cell and the scotch bonnet is representing the
antigen A. Awesome.
So this is what
blood group A. Blood group A.
Okay.
Awesome. So let's put that aside like this. Now, this is another red blood cell. And remember, this is antigen B. So when you have antigen B attaching to the surface of a red blood cell, the individual becomes blood group B. Exactly. You're getting it fast. All right. So here we go. Okay. Here we go. So this is an individual with blood group B. All right. So let's put it here. Okay. So this is blood group A, blood group B. Now, what of an individual who doesn't have anything on their red blood cell? They don't have A, they don't have B. That's O. So those are the people with blood group O. They don't have A, they don't have B. They are the ones we call blood group O. So how about an individual having these two, having antigen A and antigen B? What do you call that?
AB.
That's AB, exactly. So hold it like this. Let's also hit those with AB. Yes, you're learning very
I'm a good student.
fast.
I pay attention to details.
Awesome. Maybe it's because we are now in the kitchen and that's your area. So
Maybe. Maybe it's because it's reminding me of food.
So this is AB. All right. So that's how we get our blood groups. Okay. O, AB, B, and A. Good. Now, that is for the blood group system we call the ABO. There's another blood group system we call the rhesus. The rhesus, all right? Now, the same way we have these antigens on the red blood cell, This our white onion, let it represent what we call the rhesus antigen. Rhesus antigen, exactly. So when you have a red blood cell with a rhesus antigen on top of it, that red blood cell becomes rhesus positive.
Okay, when we have a red blood cell with a rhesus antigen on top of it, it becomes rhesus positive. Okay.
Beautiful. Okay, I think our combinations are becoming so plenty on our tray right now. Then if you have an individual that doesn't have this rhesus on top of him, he becomes rhesus negative. So the way God has made our blood groups is such a way that now I'm going to demonstrate something here, and I want you to pay close attention. Remember that this is rhesus antigen, and this individual is just A, blood group A. So if we attach this, now hold this for me, if we attach this, hold this also, to this individual.
This white is representing
rhesus positivity. Exactly.
Okay.
So remember, this guy has been blood group A. Now add the rhesus on top of it, so this individual becomes A positive. So that's how we get the A positive, because of the A antigen and the rhesus antigen on the red blood cell. I'm sure we understand this perfectly.
Yeah, I'm sure we're getting it, right? Because
yes.
I'm getting it.
All right. So now we're talking rhesus incompatibility and how it affects child bearing and what it does to the child. Okay? So let's assume that we have, remember, you don't have anything on top of you, you are rhesus negative. This is what makes the red blood cell to be rhesus positive. So you don't have it, you are negative. So assuming a lady is rhesus negative, this stands for the lady, all right? And then the young man is rhesus positive, as you can see, he's A positive. And then he gets married to this lady.
He's negative.
Exactly. So what will happen? Now, remember again, she is rhesus negative and he is rhesus positive. So when they get married, there's a chance that the baby may either follow the father, who is positive, or follow the mother, who is negative. Now, assuming that the baby decides to follow the father. Now, help me hold this.
Okay, so this is the baby, right?
This is the baby.
With the antigen.
With the antigen, the rhesus antigen.
In other words, it's taken after the father.
Yes. So we're going to take it this way. So here is the baby. The baby is taken after the father. All right. Now, the baby is carried in the womb of the mother. So the mother's body will say, what is happening? There's something inside of me that I don't understand. So the mother's body will be forced to produce some soldiers. Let the father step aside. Let the father step aside now. It's about the mother and the baby right now. So soldiers will be produced, and then these are the soldiers. So that's what the parents are doing. So soldiers will form.
Do you need everything?
Just spread them around them.
Okay.
Around the baby. They won't spread.
The baby.
Around the baby.
So they're like protecting.
No, what they're trying to do is they think that there is a foreign agent or an enemy that has come into the body of the mother.
To attack, right?
To attack. So what they will do is that they will form within the mother, but they won't harm the baby yet because they still don't understand what is going on. So at the end of the first pregnancy, the baby is born very normal. Very normal, no problem. But now let's assume that during the second pregnancy, father positive, mother negative, and then the baby still takes after the father. Now these soldiers that formed once upon a time will now get angry and they'll be like, wow, so you were trying us all this while. Oh, we are going to show you and deal with you. Then the soldiers will now attack
the baby.
Yes, attack the baby. And essentially what they do is to destroy. They destroy the surface of they destroy the red blood cell.
Wow.
Okay, they destroy it. So the baby will be born with very low blood levels. The baby will be born with what we call jaundice, okay? When these red blood cells get destroyed, the substance they release from inside them is yellowish. It's called bilirubin. So the yellow color will be seen in the eyes of the baby, the palms of the baby, the soles of the foot of the baby, and of course, that's what we now call jaundice. Okay, in fact, some babies can be born with low blood levels, very low because it's been destroyed.
Eyes as a result of the rhesus incompatibility.
There are so many causes of yellow eyes in babies, but this is one of them. So when this happens, we call it rhesus incompatibility, or some people call it hemolytic disease of the newborn. That's actually the name. Hemolytic disease of the newborn. Hemolytic means hemo is blood, lytic is destruction. So destruction of the blood cells. That's how we get hemolytic. Alright? So that's why it's important that when you, as a rhesus negative mother, if they tell you you are A negative or B negative or O negative, and you're getting married to a man who is rhesus positive, maybe A positive, B positive, O positive, make sure that your antenatal is carried out in a hospital that is standard, not just any roadside hospital, okay? Hospitals that can do a lot of tests, to check the levels of these soldiers to be sure that your baby is safe. So now you want to ask me, should rhesus negative women, should they still go ahead and marry rhesus positive guys? Fantastic, yes. It's not like genotype where AS and AS. No. This one, rhesus negative women can marry rhesus positive men. The only thing is, like I said, your antenatal should be done in a standard hospital and facility, because you don't know whether your baby will take after your husband or will take after you. So what we usually do in the hospitals is, once we know that the woman is rhesus negative, we carry out quite a number of tests, to be sure that these soldiers are not within her blood circulation. And even if they are, to be sure that they are not, the number is not much that can harm the baby. Then there are injections that we give to mop out these soldiers, and the name of that injection is Rogam. Rogam, exactly. So Rogam will mop a lot of these soldiers so that they don't affect this baby. Yes. So it's important, as soon as she gives birth to her first child, we'll quickly take the blood of this first child and we'll take it to the lab and be sure what is the blood group of this baby. If the blood group of the baby is like the father, then we know that these soldiers are formed. So we have to quickly give her that injection called Rogam within 72 hours of her delivery. Within 72 hours.
3 days.
Yes, which is 3 days, all right? So what that injection will do is that it will reduce so many of these soldiers to protect her in her subsequent pregnancies, okay? So that when the next baby comes in, we'll still give her Rogam while she's pregnant. When the baby is born again, we'll quickly take the blood group of the baby. And if we still find out that the baby is rhesus positive like the father, we'll give her another shot of Rogam within 72 hours. So you see that this is not something that can be done in just any hospital. These are things that are done in standard facilities. So
my question is, if you keep giving a pregnant woman injection or vaccine, doesn't it have any kind of effect on her body?
Not at all. It doesn't.
It doesn't cause any kind of damage. Like I feel.
Not at all.
Over and over and over.
No, not at all. It wouldn't do that. Instead, it's even going to be protective. It's protective over her baby. So it's a good thing, okay? There's no side effect to the mother, this injection, all right? There's no side effect to the mother, so it's to protect her baby. And everybody wants to give birth to a healthy, bouncing baby. You don't want your baby having jaundice, having low blood, having to be needing blood transfusion right from very tender age. It's so worrisome. So that's why I brought us to the kitchen, so that we can understand how blood groups form, and then how the rhesus blood group plays around between father and mother, how it can affect the baby, and how to take necessary precautions should you find yourself in this case. Tell your sisters, your friends, all those you know are rhesus negative. When they get married, they should know the blood group of their husbands. When they do, once you are a rhesus negative woman, please, your antenatal, don't take it lightly because we want to prevent hemolytic disease of the newborn. Remember again, hemolytic is blood breaking down, yes, destruction of blood. Thank you, Timmy.
Thank you very much,
Toycat,
Doc.
for
I
allowing
must
me
say,
to
I'm really impressed. Like, you just wowed me. You wowed me, and I'm sure our audience too, they are wowed. Now, I'm sure you've been enjoying this episode, but there's something you still need to do. You need to either like, you need to subscribe, and you need to share with your friends, because this is not just something for you alone. You need to evangelize, spread the gospel, let everybody know about this thing. It's not just about knowing about your blood group alone, but you still need to know if you and your spouse, if you're compatible. So thank you very much. Till we come your way again next episode. I'm saying we because I don't know, I'm just liking the vibe here. Like, it's just an interesting person, so I don't mind bringing him back to the show. Doc, if we invite you some other time, would you or not?
Absolutely, I'll be glad to be here.
Guys. Thank you. Stay safe, and remember, COVID-19 is real.